So in this video, I want to explain the method of my madness. So I want to show you a method of implementing an XBRL-based digital financial report. Okay. So a method is simply an approach to doing something. Okay. A best practice is a method or technique that has been generally accepted as superior to any alternatives, any known alternatives, because the method produces results that are superior to those achieved by any other method. Okay? Auditors do things methodically. I am an auditor. I do things methodically. So most people that are creating XBRL-based financial reports, they do a bunch of stuff, and they have some checklists or whatever, and then they release the report. So this is not turning out that well. You can tell because of the quality problems in those reports. That's not the way that financial reporting is supposed to work. So in order to be able to leverage XBRL for digital financial reporting, you have to have a method that works and that is proven to give you the result that you need. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I've gone over this properly functioning logical system thing a number of times. So again, I've recognized that this small little example of the SFAC 6 elements of financial statements is the perfect size to explain things. Okay, so here you can see, you can wrap your head around this. And I also pointed out, so this is a properly functioning system. I pointed out the things that can go wrong. Okay. I also went through the things that the US GAAP and IFRS taxonomy were doing that made it challenging to make sure that you're creating reports correctly. So the whole point of having a method of creating reports is to create the reports correctly. Okay? So, and that's what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to start off. So this, okay. So this is the accounting, I'm sorry, this is the SFAC 6 representation in XBRL. You see the balance sheet, comprehensive income, and changes in equity. So I've loaded some rules with this. I press this button. All my lights turn green, and I get some more stuff appearing in my report. So one thing that I get is a list of all the disclosures in the report, plus rules that describe how that structure, that disclosure, needs to be created. Changes in equity, it uses a changes in equity hypercube, it's a roll forward, and the concept equity is the beginning and ending balance that is rolled forward. Same for each of the other disclosures in this list of 3 disclosures, which is not a lot, but wait. So in addition to the rules, you have a line of reasoning that explains the conclusion that the computer reached in determining whether or not it was true that this disclosure exists, and it's true that the disclosure is consistent with what is expected in the rules. That's what the line of reasoning does. So there's one other piece that I want to explain: the reporting checklist. The reporting checklist specifies what has to be in the report. So I have specified in this that a balance sheet is a required disclosure, a comprehensive income statement is a required disclosure, and a changes in equity is a required disclosure. Okay, so these must exist per this definition. You can have a different definition if you'd like, but I put this definition in machine readable form using XBRL. There's the definition. And I've also defined some rules. Again, in XBRL, there's the definition of the rules in XBRL. So what I've discovered is that these rules are good for lots of things. So here's an agenda. This agenda is empty. So why is the agenda empty? It's empty because I've satisfied all the things that are required. I need a balance sheet, a comprehensive income, and a statement of changes in equity. Those need to be created per the rules specified by the disclosure mechanics rules. They exist in the report, and I can see the mathematics of the rule or of the disclosure are correct. Okay, this is a little bit different. I'm not going to go into why that's different, but basically the mechanics are correct. So let's see what happens when I delete a disclosure. It pops up in the agenda. Why does it pop up in the agenda? Because the reporting checklist says that this is always a required disclosure. The same thing for if I delete that. So what's going on here is that there's interaction between all these things. The actual facts that were disclosed, the rules for which you have to create the disclosures, and this is all summarized here in a dashboard so that an accountant can read to make sure that the report's been created correctly. And here, you don't have a memory jogger. You have a machine readable articulation of what a report needs to look like. And that's used for 2 things, or actually 3 things. Number 1, for a standard setter or someone to specify what the report should look like. Number 2, for someone creating the report to actually create the report according to that specification. But most importantly, number 3, a data aggregator to extract information from a report effectively so that they understand, what is there and how to get at the information and how to pull it into their databases. So again, I showed this for a very simple, logical system financial report. Okay? But what if we added, actually this is going to go through some, here's the rules, the lines of reasoning, and the reporting checklist. So, and I went over the agenda. Okay, so what if we took and added more stuff? All this stuff works exactly the same way. Okay, here I took SFAC 6 and I added the stuff for not for profits, and it expanded it, and I have 7 things. But what if I expanded it even more? Because I had more disclosures. Or expanded it even more because I had more disclosures. Now I have 30 disclosures. This is the mini financial report, or mini financial reporting scheme. Or what if I expanded it even more? This is the XASB financial reporting scheme. And I have all these disclosures, and all the rules are consistent with what was expected, or the disclosure was found, the rules are consistent with what was expected. And I had a little dashboard that said everything was A-OK. And I could just click on this and go to any details and navigate and see exactly why, if this was not green, or even if it is green, why it is green, or why it is orange. Imagine if you had a software application that would do all that. How beneficial would that be? So I'm going to stop there for now and call that good.